I want to get into this little guy that was reviewing the Parasite movie because it's pretty funny.
Well, I don't know anything about Parasite. And
neither does this guy, so I think it's perfect. This guy hasn't seen Parasite.
So I've seen Joker. I liked Joker, but Parasite. What did Parasite win?
Parasite won. So Bong Joon-ho won Best Director.
I think they won Best Writing. I'll fact check it. They won Best Writing. They won Best Foreign Film, Best Director, and Best Picture.
Yeah.
And a couple other.
They swept the big ones.
They swept the kind of like Billy when she won all the top 4.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's a film about what?
Like, I'll get into it in a second. I want to play this first because this guy also doesn't know what it's about, and it's really funny to hear his ignorance, and then we'll explain it.
Okay, if this volume has to,
So I'm starting this video at minute 150. By the way, AJ, if you want to show this on screen later, but this is a guy that is so his name on YouTube is Robert Storms, and he has like 23,000 subscribers, and he does like movie reviews and things like that. And he's the title of this video is called "Oscars Go Full Woke." Parasite wins Best Picture, and he's very frustrated. So let's play this.
Make its own little category, which I'm okay with, to be honest with you. So why do we have Best Foreign Film, yet these movies are then qualified to enter Best Picture? True, we can sit there and say, well, just because it's foreign doesn't mean it's the best picture. That's fine.
And this guy looks exactly how you think he looks.
Motherfucking America, how many people actually fucking seen Parasite? Can someone please raise your goddamn hand and tell me, for the love of Christ, how many fucking people in the United States of motherfucking America saw Parasite? Okay? I don't know what Parasite is. I don't give a shit about Parasite. It's fine. It won Best Foreign Film. You know why? Because it's a goddamn foreign film. Joker, and look, I don't care if Joker didn't win. I wanted to win, but it could have been Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Marriage Story, 1917, Ford v Ferrari, Little Women. I don't give a shit. But fucking Parasite, which won Best Foreign Film, Best Director, Best Picture. I'm sorry, if you won Best Foreign Film, you should automatically be invalid to even be qualified to win Best Picture. You should. And it pisses me off because Joker, let's talk about Joker. Okay, look at United States of America right now.
He hadn't even seen Parasite.
What is more important to our culture than the Joker? About a movie that talks about mental illness not being taken seriously. About how people in high places look down and frown upon the poor, the poverty, and people with mental illness.
That's literally what Parasite is about.
That's why I didn't know.
He goes, people in high places looking down on people that are in poverty. That is literally Parasite. And I think Parasite does a better job than Joker, honestly, of driving that point home.
Is Parasite, it's a Chinese movie or Korean movie?
It's Korean, South Korean. I'll kind of explain the synopsis, and I won't spoil Act 2 because Act 1 and Act 2 are very different. So the setup of the movie, that is not very much spoilers. You'll get the gist from the trailer, is that there is a very poor family that ends up they're very, very much struggling. They live in a semi-basement. They are very, very poor. They stink. They smell. The family's folding pizza boxes to make money at the beginning of the movie. And basically the son, so it's a family of 4, a son, a daughter, and 2 parents. And the son gets an opportunity to work as an English tutor for this very wealthy family. And because his entire family needs jobs, he basically kind of cons this rich family into hiring the rest of his family for other positions within the household.
A con or a convince?
A con, because he doesn't let them know that they're his family.
Oh, okay.
So this rich family, he doesn't realize that they're all related. And then it's so fun. It's a very fun movie. It's super awesome. It's funny. It's very funny. It's got so many like twists and turns, and there's like this one sequence that is just like perfect.
It's the pacing of it.
The pacing, the cinematography, the editing, like everything is just on fucking point. And then Act 2 happens, and there's a giant twist, and the whole movie takes a turn that you're just like, what the fuck? Like I've talked about like
Does
when
it
you
go-
take psychedelics.
It goes real dark.
It goes dark, and it also goes like almost a little bit horror and very anxiety inducing and very, you just got to watch it. It's amazing. The other thing is a lot of people, I think, they're like, I got to read subtitles. You think about the subtitles for, I'd say maybe the first 10, 15 minutes. And then as you go on, you kind of tend to forget about them. And I actually really enjoyed, I think I would lose some of the acting if it was dubbed. Like if I was watching a dubbed version, like English.
Subtitles also force you to not be on Instagram while you're watching.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
It's very,
like, I fall into that trap all the time where I'm like, gonna watch a movie, and before I know it, I'm like, beep, dee 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 dee, you know, and then I'm just listening to what's going on, not actually watching.
Yeah, and it's, man, honestly, like ever since me and AJ watched it together a couple nights ago, and ever since we watched it, like it's been rattling around in my brain. Like it's so good, and it's not jarring where Joker really makes you feel afterwards. Like I could see you kind of like going into like a depression kind
AJ,
of.
Did you ever see Midsummer?
I did.
Is it the equivalent of that?
Midsummer is more.
But when I mean equivalent, I mean like it's like happy and joyful in the beginning, and then towards the end it gets real dark and it makes you super uncomfortable.
So let's take Joker for example.
Okay.
Joker.
Let's talk about Joker.
Let's talk about Joker.
Can we talk about Joker?
So Joker, it's pretty clear what the message is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You watch Parasite, and you have to kind of think about the word parasite and think of like
There's so many double
this
meanings.
family
with it.
is leeching on to this poor family is leeching onto this rich family, but also this rich family is depending on this poor family.
Like the upper class, the 1% also depends fully on the 99% living like a shitty life or whatever for them to live like the most luxury life they could.
That's Dubai. Like,
yeah,
all the poor people drive in an hour and a half to work for all the rich people and then leave again. And it's like, what do they call that in the animal kingdom when you're like a
hierarchy?
You're like a whale shark, and then there's that little baby fish that like lives.
It's
on
a symbiotic relationship.
Thank you.
But it's a form of parasitism. Like there's
it's parasitic. It's parasitic.
Exactly, and dude. There's so many good parallels of the word parasite. It's like a perfect name for the movie, and it has nothing to do with like actual parasites or anything. Like it's honestly like I don't really even want to talk about like the plot much more because I really want people to go see it because I went into it not even knowing what I told you guys. Like I went into it 100% blind. Like me and AJ were like, oh, won Best Picture and won all these other things. Like, let's watch it. And that's exactly how this guy in this video felt because he hadn't even seen it.
And sometimes Academy Award movies that win these big awards are kind of trash. Like there's been times where
in the past few years they've gotten
like,
some flack.
It's like Best Picture goes to blah blah, and I'm like, okay, that must be great. And then you go to watch it, and you're like, what is this horse shit?
Well, I think a lot of times the Academy is really looking at things that the layperson is not looking at. Like for example, what was that one movie like Birdman? Was it Birdman? The one that was like everything was like one continuous shot.
Birdman, yeah. Birdman.
Yeah, and like that, like to the average person, they're like, yeah, that's cool or whatever. But like maybe it wasn't as entertaining. But to like a person that really appreciates good cinema or something, they see that and they're like, oh my god, that was brilliant! Like how they transitioned that, or like things like that. That the regular person is like, that's like a Marvel goer or something is like, it wasn't that good. Not enough explosions. It's like you gotta. I don't know. The Academy is looking at other things. They're looking at the art of cinema versus just like how much money did it make and is it entertaining and stuff like that. Like I think they're looking at a lot of different factors. But to be fair, Parasite is. I'm not even just saying this. Like me and AJ were talking about this. It's one of the best movies that I've ever seen, and I don't think I can say like definitively like, oh, it's my favorite movie. Because I've only seen it once, and there's a lot of movies that I probably would enjoy watching more because I maybe have like nostalgic, affection for, or like I've always said that The Dark Knight is my favorite movie because I just have so much. There's just so much good about it, and Parasite honestly hits a lot of those same points for me. Like it's really good, and I think over the years it'll age really well, and it's just an awesome movie. Like it was really, 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 really well done. And I think watching it a few more times, like you you can always get more out of it. Like, it's not like one of those one-time watches and you're like, okay.
Those are my favorite kind of movies. Like Inception, for example.
Yes.
Like when Inception was over, I was like, shit, now I got to watch it again. I'm like, what the hell? Which, by the way, if you haven't seen Inception and you're on Netflix, it's currently on Netflix right now, so go watch it.
You know what Parasite also gave me a little bit of vibes of, even though it doesn't have the technological parallels, is Ex Machina.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Because Ex Machina takes place in that one house.
3 actors, 1 house. That's it.
That's one of the best movies. I rewatched that the other day. That's a really good movie.
Three actors, 1 location, and it's a mind fuck of
that's
a movie.
That's also in my top 10
and
probably.
It's terrifying. If like the end scene, you're like, oh fuck.
Doesn't Parasite kind of give you some of the vibes of Ex Machina as far as the house goes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the other crazy thing is the house in Ex Machina is almost a character of its own. Same thing in Parasite.
I saw a movie.
Parasite, the house that the rich people live in is very much a character of its own. And it's the craziest part is that it's entirely a set. Like, I was very convinced that this was just like a really sick house that they found to film in. It's 100% built by Bong Joon-ho and his creation team. They designed this house for the movie. It's not a house that anyone lives in.
I just recently saw a movie called Knives Out, and
I heard that was really
Very
good.
good one too.
So good. But the house, AJ, it's its own character. Like the house plays a huge part in the storytelling, because it has, as things get revealed about the character, things get revealed about the house, and it's pretty freaking clever because you're like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Yeah,
you know?
I'd say Parasite is very similar in that regard, and it's it's amazing, and the reason why this guy in this video that we were showing is so pissed is because he is saying that if it's a foreign film, it should be for foreign films only, and this is the Academy, and this is the awards for the United States and all this kind of stuff. But the thing is like,
so his argument is if it was best foreign film, it shouldn't be allowed to also win
best
overall.
But that's so dumb. It's like that's like in the Grammys saying like best pop album can't also be is not eligible for album of the year. It's like, no, duh, that's the point. It's like you get the best of these categories: best foreign film, best animated film, best this film. And then all of those can still be nominated for Best Picture because that's like the best of the best.
Movies can still win Best Picture.
Yeah.
And don't they do that in like bodybuilding? Like there's like the best in physique and the best, and then there's best overall, where it's like all the finalists of the best of the categories face each other.
Yeah. So each category has subcategories. So there's like physique, there's classic, there's 212, there's open bodybuilding, and then the winners of each division face off, and then that is the overall winner. So you basically have to win twice. So it's like you can get first place in your division, but then you can get like last overall, or you can get first in your division and first overall.
And if Parasite was in the running for Best Picture but didn't win Best Foreign Film, that's stupid. Like if they're, you know what I mean? Like if they're actually putting in the running for Best Picture of the year, which honestly, I didn't see all the other entries in the Best Picture category, but AJ, I'm assuming you've watched a decent amount of them. Do you agree that Parasite should win?
So I went in with it thinking like, I really like Joker. I saw it like 3 times.
Yeah, I love Joker too.
I think after I saw that one, I was like, that one definitely should win because Joaquin.
Did you see 1917?
I saw 1917.
How was it?
1917 probably had the best cinematography I've ever seen.
I saw behind the scenes
Roger Deakins
where they
did that one continuous shot that was like crazy.
No, it had to do with the fact that like they could only shoot when it was cloudy. So sometimes they would just be on set all day and not be able to do a single shot. They would just sit around all day and just hope that it got cloudy.
Yeah.
Some of the dark like nighttime scenes were actually shot in like the morning time because like they still have that light. Anyways, so
dawn and evening you can trick a camera.
You can color correct it to a way to make it look like it's dark. But anyways, after I'm always very optimistic about the Academy. So like I'll give it a chance. So once I saw that one, I mean, winning Best Foreign Film and seeing that it's like everywhere, like being advertised everywhere. It's just like, all right, this has got to be a good movie. And then seeing it win Best Foreign Film, then Best Writing, then Best Director, I was like, okay, this has got to be a good movie. So the next day when saw it, and I was like, oh yeah.
Do you think that totally swayed your perception of it because it won all the awards?
In what way?
Like the fact that you watched it after the Oscars, or after the Oscars had already announced that they won, is that swaying your opinion? I personally haven't seen haven't seen a lot of the other nominations, and I still think, like, even for example, like Ex Machina is one of my favorite movies, and I went into it, and that didn't even do that well in the box office or anything.
No,
I
guess what I mean is, like, you go to a restaurant,
I think
it's like award-winning mac and cheese, best in the U.S., and then you eat it, and you're like, this is the best mac and cheese I've ever had. But if you didn't know it was award-winning, would it have been the best mac and cheese?
It stands alone, dude. I think I would still say, even independent. I think even independent of knowing that it won Best Picture, Best Foreign Film, anything, if I would just to watch that on its own, I would have come away going, holy shit, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like, honestly, it's amazing.
Well, shit, and now I gotta watch it.
I think everyone should go watch it. It's awesome. And the guy in this video that we were kind of talking about before, I think he's so pissed because he sees this as Hollywood wanting to lift this up as, like, you know, for example, oh, we have the first black president, like, and only voting him in because he's black, or like people voting for Hillary only because she's a woman and they just want a woman president.
Not because she's the most qualified.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that he was saying is first of all, is the first South Korean film to ever be up for Best Director or even Best Picture. I think it was even the first South Korean film to win Best Foreign Film.
What's interesting is that Korean culture and American culture are very closely related.
There's a lot of parallels.
There's a lot of parallels. There's a lot of similarities.
South Korea is really cool.
And I'm not surprised that it did well, you know?
Yeah, and it was, I think this guy was just so pissed because he's like, how many people in America saw Parasite? And he was just very, very like, Joker had so much impact on society and had everyone talking, and it made people uncomfortable, and it made you feel, and blah, 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 blah. And I would say Parasite does those things in a maybe even more effective way, because it doesn't just make you like depressed. It gives you empathy from both sides, and it makes you feel so much in the movie. And it's also just a very amazing original story. Whereas like Joker, you know, it was a very original take on the Joker and the character as a whole. There was a lot of liberties that they took with the character that aren't the typical Joker that I think people really enjoyed and loved. But I still do think that there was like that element of things that they were having to do to tie things in. Like, you know, when he like meets like young Bruce Wayne and stuff, kind of gimmicky because you're like, oh, it's young Bruce Wayne. Like Parasite doesn't need any of that because it like stands alone. You know what I mean? And I think Joker kind of like
you're right. There was a couple fact that it's like when Bruce Wayne's parents got killed and, you know, Joker was there. It's like
Joker benefits from Heath Ledger's Joker. It also benefits from all the other Jokers, and I think you appreciate Joker as a film more than you would just as like seeing Joker all by itself, not knowing Batman, not knowing Joker.
It helped me appreciate Heath Ledger's Joker more.
Yes.
It helped me understand his mental state because after this version of the Joker goes
Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix then goes to Arkham for 20 years. And then when he gets out is when Batman is ruling the city, you know? So it's like you understand his mind state and why he's so fucked up. Yeah, like you
empathize with him.
Yeah, and you also understand why he's like, I'm not about the money, I'm about causing chaos, you know?
Exactly.
That's what he talks about in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, exactly. And then you hear Alfred, some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, it's like, he's like,
one of the best lines.
Yeah, it's like, because he's talking about the ruby, the big jewels that
there was a robber or something. He calls him something.
There was a thief.
There was a thief. There was a robber and
a crook.
Yeah, a crook or something. He calls him something. He's like, they burned down the whole jungle, anyways, I think Joker is a really good movie. I think it deserves all the praise and all the recognition. Joaquin Phoenix is genius in that movie. Who's the director? Todd Phillips?
Todd Phillips.
Yeah, Todd Phillips was genius. Like, that whole movie Joker is amazing. And I still do think that Parasite is a little bit even more original, a little bit more effective. It's better. And I do think that it deserved Picture of the Year, and it was amazing.
What was the title of that video again? Something about woke. Hollywood goes woke.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say about the wokeness is I think it says Oscars goes full woke, Parasite wins Best Picture, and I think he was just thinking, oh, the Academy just wants to like elevate these South Korean people because they want to show how woke they are of like nominating this like kind of abstract, obscure foreign film as like the coolest thing. And he's like, who in the United States of fucking America has seen Parasite?
Well, what I think is interesting is like he talks about woke culture, but then looks like the biggest snowflake of all. He's like, oh, I've never even seen it.
Yeah,
and it's like the Joker talks about all these things, and then he lists out all the things.
And
that
the
Parasite
funny thing is, he goes, we got all these American films that should have won. 4 vs. 4, Joker, 1917. It's like 1917 was a British film, you dunce. Like it wasn't even like he's just viewing Western and English speaking as American, and because South Korean and the movie's not in English, therefore it like invalidates being a really good movie in America, and that's just simply not true because. Just because Hollywood has dominated music and American culture has like dominated music and movies and really culture as a whole across the whole world for so many years does not mean that there can be shifts, and that does not mean that there are valid and very, very good concepts and movies and ideas and entertainment coming from other places. And that's where I think that he's just very like protective, and obviously this dude self-identifies with Joker a lot. And
he
like
looks,
if you're just listening to audio, it's this very large man. He has a halo tattoo behind his ear.
I didn't see that part.
The backdrop,
it's like this halo ring.
It's the the O in Halo, like the script of it's got the little O with the little dot. Yeah, and he's got like ear piercings. He's wearing like a dorky little like hat,
fedora looking.
It's not even a fedora. It's like a Newsies hat.
A golf hat.
Yeah,
big,
like a little golf hat.
A beard.
He's got a beard. He's very overweight. He's got a large shirt with like tribal print on it.
No, it looks like Ed Hardy.
Kinda, yeah. And like,
God, remember Ed Hardy?
And he's got like chains, and behind him, by the way, he's got all these like comic book ladies, like very like misogynistic, like
oh God,
portrayals of women and stuff. So he's obviously like a comic book dork and all that stuff. So of course he, and he got a lot of shit for it. At the beginning of the video, it's very funny. He urges everyone to like the video because he thinks that his opinion is very valid, and he thinks that everone should go like it.
What 23,000 subs and how many? That's not a lot of subs.
He has 49,000 downvotes on this video. And he has 23,000 subs.
How many views does he have?
166K. So at the beginning of the video, he's like, everyone needs to like this video because this idea needs to get out there. And everyone is like,
1/3 of downvotes.
Imagine thinking that your idea was correct. Like, I've never felt like so embarrassed for someone. Like, he's just, the whole conversation is just so cringy because like, if you would have actually given Parasite a chance, I think you would have changed your tune, but you're obviously being so blatantly like borderline racist that you can't possibly imagine a non-English speaking director and movie winning. You need to sun your perineum a little bit. You need to open up your chakras. You need to get a little bit more woke.
Did you say sun your perineum?
Yeah, you need to do a little bit
your
of
taint.
You need to do a little taint tanning.
Tan your taint. Oh,
yeah,
God.
right as the sun rises, you need to point your taint to the sun god Ra and absorb that energy.
Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want the full episode, you can click right here. If you want to subscribe, click here. If you want more clips, we got 2 more right over here.